This is Samsung's top S-series flagship, the Galaxy S25 Ultra. The S24 Ultra was already a great phone, so how does Samsung top that this time around? I'm Will for GSM Arena, and let's find out in our Galaxy S25 Ultra review. Samsung didn't make drastic changes for this year's Galaxy S25 series, but if there are differences to be found, they're mainly on the S25 Ultra. Besides a refined design, here you'll also find a new ultrawide camera. And of course, there's an upgrade to this year's cutting-edge flagship chipset. The difference in look isn't night and day, but the changes are noticeable. The phone's corners are rounded instead of square and angular, and the titanium frame is flat now. The phone is a whole 0.4mm thinner, and it's lighter too. And both the back and front panels are protected by a more durable glass called Corning Gorilla Armor 2. The phone has IP68 rated ingress protection against dust and water submersion, which is nice, but it falls a bit behind the flagship devices from China, which already come with IP69. The Ultra models are known for the built-in S Pen stylus. It's useful for drawing and taking notes, and it's actually waterproof too. However, the S25 Ultra's S Pen has gotten dumbed down a bit, so you lose wireless functions like the air gestures and remote camera shutter. The Galaxy S25 Ultra's screen is slightly bigger this year, at 6.9 inches. It's again a QHD OLED with a 120Hz refresh rate. This display is larger even though the phone has a narrower footprint. Samsung achieved this by slimming down the bezels. These are some of the thinnest bezels we've seen. The panel is as sharp as ever, and there's support for HDR10+ video content as well. As far as brightness goes, the new Galaxy is about the same as last year. We measured a maximum of over 780 nits with the manual brightness slider, which could boost to over 1400 nits in auto mode when needed. Something that has been improved is the surface treatment on the screen. It's even less reflective than before, making the sunlight legibility even better. And thanks to LTPO tech, the 120Hz refresh rate is extra adaptive. It can dial down while idling to save energy, all the way to 24Hz or even 1Hz with certain content. There's a pair of stereo speakers on the S25 Ultra, and they earned a very good rating for loudness. The sound quality is quite similar to last year. It's great with plenty of bass. Let's have a listen.
I'm wide awake, but you're a nightmare.
You can wake up and unlock the phone with the ultrasonic under-display fingerprint reader, which is quite fast and responsive. And the phone can come with 256 or 512 gigs of storage on board. As usual, that's not expandable through microSD card. As the S25 series hasn't changed a whole lot hardware-wise, Samsung has put a lot of focus on the new software experience, provided through its latest One UI 7. Compared to One UI 6, there's a subtle redesign. Now the notifications panel and quick toggles panel are separated. You access them by swiping from different corners of the screen. There's also a new look for icons, and you can hide the labels of apps and widgets placed on your home screen. There are plenty of new AI features too. One significant new addition is system-wide support for natural language input. Your requests can even be carried out through interactions between multiple apps, something Samsung calls cross-app action. This may be the most exciting development software-wise, and Samsung believes that this is the way to make your AI assistant more useful than ever. For now, the feature is available only with Samsung One UI system apps and Google Apps. Other AI features include AI Select, which replaces Smart Select in the sidebar. It can analyze the screen's content in more detail and create GIFs from videos or wallpapers from photos on the screen. Circle to Search has been upgraded so that I can now listen to audio that's currently playing and provide information about the music track. One new feature called Now Brief will give you a summary and stats of your daily schedule, and even let you know whether your favorite podcasters or artists have released new content. Something else called the Now Bar lives on your lock screen and focuses on running apps like media playback and maps directions, as well as current events like sports scores. And there are AI-based editing tools in the gallery. You can add or remove people and objects, and even sketch some things and add them to your photo. Finally, for software support, the S25 Ultra will get 7 major Android updates and 7 years of security patches. The Galaxy S25 series phones all come with a special version of this year's flagship Qualcomm chipset. It's called the Snapdragon 8 Elite for Galaxy. It's like the Snapdragon 8 Elite, but even faster, with higher clock speeds. In benchmarks, the S25 Ultra did an excellent job. It topped the charts when it comes to CPU-based tasks. However, the graphics-based benchmarks are along the lines of other flagships. The S25 Ultra is a clear improvement over the previous model, at least in benchmarks. In your everyday use, it feels perfectly fast and snappy, as you'd expect a flagship to be. Samsung boasts a new passive cooling system, but despite that, the thermal management is about what we've come to expect from high-powered flagships. In our prolonged stress tests, we observed heavy thermal throttling. The battery capacity here on the S25 Ultra is 5,000 mAh. It hasn't changed for a few generations now. But even so, the phone did a better job in our battery life tests than its predecessor, earning a very good active use score of 14 hours and 49 minutes. The charging here is again 45 watts, and there's no charger in the box. With a proper adapter, we were able to charge from 0 to 72% in half an hour, and a full charge took 59 minutes, about the same as last year. And the Galaxy S25 Ultra supports wireless charging and reverse wireless charging too. Now let's move on to the cameras. Just like last year, there's a 200 megapixel main cam, a 10 megapixel 3x zoom, and a 50 megapixel 5x zoom. But now Samsung has swapped the 12 megapixel ultra-wide cam for a higher res 50 megapixel one, with a wider f1.9 aperture. Something worth mentioning is a camera app redesign. The camera mode carousel is now found under the shutter button, and even opening the extra modes no longer hides your whole viewfinder. And a new Galaxy Log video mode allows you to do the color grading by yourself if you're into those sort of things. During the day, the S25 Ultra captures great photos. They have excellent detail, with some fine grain visible from up close. Dynamic range is excellent, with well-developed tonal extremes, even in harsh lighting. White balance is dependable, and the color output is likable without going overboard with the saturation. People shots from the main cam are nice too, though facial detail is somehow not as well defined as it could be. In the dark, the S25 Ultra adopts a conservative approach to processing by default. There's plenty of noise to go with the detail, and shadows can be a little soft. You won't always have all your highlights salvaged, and there may be scenes with harsher rendition of bright lights. That said, exposures are very nicely balanced. If you opt to toggle on the dedicated night mode, you get the opposite, heavy processing and noise reduction, with aggressive sharpening and a rather artificial look. The Ultra's 3x telephoto camera captures good daylight photos. Detail is solid, and dynamic range and colors are great. The minimum focusing distance is around 18 centimeters, and that allows for some nice close-ups too. Here are a few people shots at the 70-ish mm equivalent focal length of the 3x telephoto camera. At night, the 3x zoom shots again have kept in the noise along with the detail by default. Colors and dynamic range are hard to complain about. And now the longer telephoto camera. Again, there's plenty of detail and some graininess. There are no complaints about the colors or dynamic range here. The 25cm minimum focusing distance allows for some nice close-ups. Not the most extreme ones, but quite useful still. The 5x zoom camera tends to do better in the dark than the 3x one, though the general trends are the same. Good detail, some graininess, and very good dynamic range. Not a spectacular showing, but it's solid. One of the major hardware changes is the new ultra-wide camera. It captures very good 12 megapixel binned photos, they're well exposed, with wide dynamic range and likable color rendition. However, they do seem to be a bit less sharp than what came out of the ultra-wide of last year's model. This ultra-wide camera does seem to take nighttime photos that are a little cleaner, but slightly softer than what we got from the S24 Ultra. Not a huge change. Selfies from the 12 megapixel autofocusing front-facing camera are excellent. You get nice skin tones, wide dynamic range, and very good detail. The Galaxy S25 Ultra can record video in up to 8K with all of its cameras except the selfie camera. That's limited to 4K. You also get the option for 4K 120fps slow-mo on the main and ultra-wide cameras. Something new this year is a tool called the AI Audio Eraser. It allows you to adjust the volume or completely mute certain types of sounds in a video. And you can also record 10-bit HDR videos, as opposed to last year's 8-bit. 4K video out of the Galaxy's main camera is excellent. Detail is great, dynamic range is wide, and colors are on point. 4K footage from the 3x zoom camera is more in the alright category in terms of detail, but the overall look remains consistent. At 5x zoom, detail is also good enough. Not impressive, not a problem either. And global parameters are also looking fine. And the ultrawide cam does a decent job too. Video stabilization is available in all modes on all cameras, and it does an excellent job. Everything comes out quite smooth. And in the dark, the main camera captures solid clips, with nice exposure and very good dynamic range. There's plenty of detail, and also quite a lot of grain in the darker areas. So there you have it, the Galaxy S25 Ultra. You get the familiar Samsung hardware package that's worked well for them so far, with a few tweaks and new software features. We would have liked to see even more changes on the hardware side of things, like better ingress protection, improved charging, or a more substantial update to the cameras. Also, why take away the S Pen connectivity? Still, while this may not be the most innovative or exciting release, Samsung has yet again delivered a high-quality flagship phone. And if you're in the market for that, the Galaxy S25 Ultra is worth recommending. Thanks for watching, guys. One alternative you can find on our channel is last year's Galaxy S24 Ultra, and another is the iPhone 16 Pro Max. Let us know what you think, and I'll see you on the next one.